She was a little dog. She was really cute, older. She had a little cough. Dude, I fucking love dogs. I love dogs, man. Guys, welcome back. Oops Podcast. Giulio Gallerati, Ryan Lynch, OTP. You know me. You know us.
Nice.
You like that?
Yeah.
Solid. What's cracking, bro?
Yeah. We were just talking about Drake.
We're talking about the new Drake album.
On your mind.
Goes hard as fuck, bro. There's the Bad Bunny song is great too.
Yeah.
Drake kind of does this like campy, like Spanglish thing at the beginning that like really works, in my opinion. Then it's like a Travis Scott song where like Travis Scott invented this, as far as I know, like a song that's like 4 different songs in one. That's like a fun thing. So it's that part, then another Drake part, and then Bad Bunny comes in, kills it, obviously. And at one point he goes, "Fuck, mommy, holy shit, caricato chinga." It's fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah, the new album is sick. I know last time we spoke about him, I was a little turned off, but that was just the concert experience. Drake is drizzy. Drake can make anything cool. Yeah. So, yeah, check that out if you're wearing it. I'm rocking the 21 Savage tee today because I'm just feeling like 21.
21. Dude, so. Yeah, the Drake album it rules. Definitely go check it out. And I think by the time this comes, the Bad Bunny album is out by the time that this comes out also.
I got to listen to that.
And I'm sure that I love it. Me from the future is really enjoying it, spending late nights listening to it. Fuck, mommy, holy shit, caricato chinga. Anyway, dude, we want to hear this story that you have, and I know some of it because you sent me the video already. It was nuts. Tell me about what happened.
Okay, so on Saturday, I did a late night open mic at Eastville Comedy Club. It was 11:30 p.m. I decided to go last minute, and I've never been to this place before, so I didn't really know what the vibe was. All the open mics are different vibes. And
was it hard for you to get there from where you live?
No, so I did a 9 o'clock open mic at Black Cat at 9 o'clock, and then I took the F, and then I walked 15 minutes wherever I got out.
Are you making any pals?
A couple, yeah. I've been sticking around afterwards, making eye contact and like great sets to. Especially people that I think have great sets, and I've been trying to network. It's been a little hard.
It's hard. It takes time.
It's gonna take. I know it'll come with the time. I feel like I just need to just keep going and hanging out afterwards for a little bit and just networking with people, and it'll happen naturally. I have not found like a best friend that's going through the journey,
you will.
But
as time goes on too, not to interrupt, but you. Like, as you get better and better at it, the people sort of get cooler and cooler as a baseline because, like, it's just starting out. There's a lot of, like, weirdos sometimes.
Yeah. So. I'm not too worried about it. I have a bully.
You have a bully?
I have a bully. My first open mic, he was there. My second open mic, I stuttered on a word. And then he went up afterwards and he was like, "Ryan, how do you think you did?" And I'm just sitting there,
oh my God,
taking the punches to the face. Did. And so like that was like my third time doing an open mic. So
this guy clearly doesn't know that you have a big pod, dude.
No, it's not about. It's all good. It's all fuel to the fire.
Fuck that guy, dude.
Yeah. So no, I saw my bully. I said hi. And I went to Eastville, and it was my first open mic in Brooklyn. And so I go in there, I'm sitting down, and there's people buying tickets for the open mic. So like it was Saturday night, 11:30.
Now,
probably.
Do you have to pay to do the open mics?
Usually $5 or $6. Mostly just $5, but this one was $6. And so I'm sitting there, getting ready to go. Seems like normal vibes. It's starting to fill in a little bit. There's like 20 or 30 people. And then a group of college girls walk in. And they are like young, like 21 years old. And they look like they just came from going out. And they're sitting at their table. And the show starts. And it's a pretty, mixed crowd. Everyone there seems to be like in the loop on like how the open mics work. except these girls. I feel like this might have been their first comedy show. And so I'm sitting there, pay no mind. I'm just waiting for the fishbowl drawing for the names.
And do they do that before or as the show goes on?
They did like a first half and a second half. So they did like 4 or 5 names.
So it was like only 10 people? And is it like sign up, whoever gets there first gets to sign up and that's it?
No, I think they were playing, there's some playing favorites and whatever. I was in the second half. That's fine. I've been pretty lucky lately. I've been, my name's been drawn in the first quarter a lot lately.
Sick.
And I've just found that's the crowd is more energized when you're going towards the beginning.
Totally.
Because I've done a couple bringers where there's like 10 to 15 people and everyone's just like,
oh God, dude.
15
it's
people
brutal.
at one. I felt so bad because there were some funny people and they just got the shit end of the stick. And they did the exact same, like brought X amount of people that are paying and just bad luck. So,
and even the short sets, like it's hard for a brain to process that many different people. Like a show, the same length of show, if there's 5 people doing 15-minute sets versus whatever, dozen doing 5-minute sets, the 5-minute set one seems longer, that show.
Yeah.
So
anyway, we're sitting there, the open mic starts, and, the host was doing a little crowd work. And so obviously like group of college girls, like that's a topic.
You guys from? You guys are hot.
Yeah. And so they were pretty much. And so they were like, what are you doing here? And so there was some friendly banter going on at the beginning and that's fine. And so that was fun. And then the next person comes on, everything's fine. The third person comes on, then you start hearing a little chitter chatter. You start hearing the chairs moving, like the metal chairs against the concrete floor. Such a terrible noise. And it was it was interrupting everybody. And so they started to become a little disruptive and they start to get called out and they're playfully getting called out. They're playfully barking back. But then they continue to do those things and they start to become the center of attention. And so now, and let me mention that we were supposed to do 5 minutes. There were so many people that everyone only got 3. So like you really only have so much time to get into a rhythm. And so people were primarily focusing their entire set on crowd work with that group of people. And so they started making fun of them. They started...
were they the only audience?
No, there were probably like 30 people.
That's
and,
good. There
were also a lot of like comics there that were hanging out and not performing too.
But of like non-comics...
I'd say like 15 to 20.
Dude, those are the mics. Those are the open mics you want to be doing. Makes sense. Saturday night.
I was excited when I saw people coming in
That's great.
weren't going to go up. And so I want to, let me speed this up a bit. So they were being disruptive and the comics were barking back at them. And then things started to get a little tense. One of the girls was like, start telling jokes. Like, you're just talking about us. Start telling jokes. And so one guy got a little angry at that. And then it turned into, I'd say, I went 12th. So comic 6 to 9, it started to get, aggressive both ways. And, everyone was laughing because the comics were roasting them. They just seemed like they didn't get it. I think they expected that they were going to see Louis C.K. and Dave Chappelle because they paid tickets to see a comedy show.
They paid like a normal...
They paid, I think, like, it doesn't matter, but they paid, but they were told it was an open mic.
Okay.
And and so like at the open mics, everyone's testing out their material and a lot of it is kind of dicking around. That was the vibe I got. And so they were expecting, I think, a different product. So they felt entitled to just start talking to each other, having side conversations during the sets that weren't even heckling. They were just being obnoxious. And so people kept calling them out. Things started to get tense. And then it was my turn. And right before I went up, there was just a big bark between both parties. The comic was just ripping on them, like swearing at them. He spent his entire set just like yelling at them. And so it was tense in the room. It was still funny, but it was tense. And then I went up and I knew I was like, okay, I gotta eat this fodder. I gotta get in on this. And so I'm working
Drink the milk.
Yeah, I gotta drink the milk. And so I get up there and I'm working on my crowd work skills. And before I said anything, I grabbed the stool that was on stage and I took it and I looked at the girls and I said, do you know what's really annoying? And they're just staring. They're not saying anything. And then I just dragged the stool like for like 20 seconds. And it was just obnoxious and it was loud and it was annoying. And I'm like, isn't that annoying? Like, do you enjoy doing that? And then the girl, the captain of the group was like, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. Stop making jokes about me. It's not about me. It's not about me. And I said, you've made this whole night about you. And then a couple of people that were like running the show ran over to them because she kept barking. I was done.
They had enough.
They had enough. So these guys, they come over, they're trying to console them, like, hey, you guys got to calm down. You got to respect the comics. You've been disrespectful all night. And once the guy said that to her, she pushed the table and she got up and she stormed out and she was screaming and swearing, fuck you, fuck all of you. This isn't funny. Why are you making this about me? Yada, yada, yada. Her one friend turned her phone on and started recording everybody like that was going to do anything. And then she stormed out. And it was tense.
Dramatic. And this is while you're on stage.
This was my whole set was that was what I paid $6 for.
Very nice.
But I got a good experience, a good story.
That's pretty good. Some people never get something like that to happen.
Yeah, and it's on video too, so we'll see. Maybe I'll chop it up.
Sweet.
And blur their faces out. But it was
funny.
brutal.
There's nothing else I can do in this situation, so I'm just gonna film everyone move is a good move. I respect you for doing it.
I didn't start filming.
No, she did.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Her friend did.
Pretty fucking
It was
funny.
pathetic.
How did you get the video?
A couple people were recording it, and they were like, "Yo, do you want this video?"
Hilarious.
And so it was like a fun thing. Like,
Sick.
Everyone was kumbaya after the show and getting drinks and chatting about it. And then it was a crazy show, dude. Someone had a seizure after they performed, and then another person threw up.
Did you see the seizure?
No, but we saw him perform right before, and he was making jokes about how he has epilepsy. And then we found out later in the night, one of his buddies went up and he's like, yeah, my friend that was just up, he just had a seizure.
Holy shit.
And then someone on the street threw up in front of the front door.
Jesus.
So that was like, and while the bar was packed, the bartender had to like get a bucket and clean it. It was crazy and it was so much fun. Dude, I got home so late.
Nice.
But
you stayed at the spot for a while?
Just for a little bit. I probably got home around like 1:45.
Dude, yeah, throwing up on a weekend night is just like, in public especially, it's like you gotta tone it down. Yeah. Whoever's doing that, bro, you gotta get it together. One thing I'll say, that's a crazy story, bro, but listen, it's good for you. But someone made a comment to me about, there's a picture of you performing and Victoria watching you and looking so proud. And they're like, we all need a champion like Victoria in our lives. So shout out to Vic.
Yeah, she's I didn't want her to come to my first bringer, because I wanted to, if I was going to bomb, I wanted to do it in front of just a couple friends. And I made that a point with her, but she's very supportive. So I had her come to the Black Cat. So yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
It's good to have a trusted person to kind of like run stuff by and whatever. And if she doesn't already, she'll start to really understand the process and stuff. And it's cool.
Yeah. But my question, I guess, is, do you have a first time that you were dealing with a heckler? And kind of how do you navigate through that today?
Man.
But before you answer, I just want to preface, I wasn't the instigator, I don't think. I think that I was justified to do what I did. I was trying to make the other comics laugh because it was such a tense situation. And when she barked back, that is when somebody jumped in right away. I wasn't just like, nah, 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 nah. So that's kind of where the altercation really blew up. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, dude, solid. Listen, man, like, it's a little different there. It's like an open mic, and it's funny because it's such a treat to have audience at an open mic that it's funny that it turned into like, because to a degree, the girls had a point where it's like, okay, is anybody going to do material, or are you just going to like fuck with us? You know what I mean? I understand why that could get annoying. And I also, you just, where you ended up in the lineup, it probably was going to happen no matter who was on stage. I don't think, it doesn't sound like you started it. Of course not.
No.
It also sounds like they were annoying. I'm not like defending the girls, but yeah, you hate to say it.
Yeah.
I definitely, dude, I dealt with hecklers in the past, and it kind of depends. If they are like a well-meaning heckler, they're easier to deal with because like, you don't need to like destroy them if they like don't know that they're like fucking the show up. So there's a way to kind of like quiet them without ruining the show usually. But if they're like mad about something, that can be hard. So, I'm not saying anything that's like particularly controversial in my set. Sometimes I talk about the Taliban, and I worry that like at some point somehow someone's like going to be upset about it. But I'll do that joke all over the place, and it doesn't usually trigger anybody or anything. Mm-hmm. But there have been times where people were mad, like coming into the show. They were annoyed about the process. Like they bought tickets and they were annoyed for whatever reason. And it's funny, I brought a girl with me that weekend. It was, I think I've told the story in the pod, but it was a girl who I had a huge crush on when I was like in middle school. And then I like bumped into her in the city, and I invited her to come for the weekend with me.
Oh yeah.
It was like a triumphant
You've shared that,
thing. And it was so fun. Anyway, but she was there, and we'd already been chilling, like wherever. The first night of shows were good. The second night, and I think I was like featuring or hosting at this like club in New Jersey, and there was only 20 people in the crowd, and they just hated me. They hated the show. They hated me. They were shitting on me. They were shitting on my set, and like it was really hard to deal with. I started like sweating and like feeling like I was gonna faint. Mm-hmm. Like bombing can progress to that.
Wow,
that's like the worst bomb/heckler situation that I can recall from like being affected by it. But dude, I don't know. Hecklers will happen all the time, and it's just kind of like part of it. I don't know. I don't know that I have like a particular strategy, but I don't like to like being mean doesn't seem to like be the way that I like to go about it.
Yeah.
I'll just feel uncomfortable for the rest of the show. So like I would like to just de-escalate without it being a problem. Hopefully the place I'm working has a good enough staff that they intervene usually, and they're like, hey, you can't do that. Somebody projectile vomited in the front row one time when I was on stage. I was opening for Ricky, and they literally projectile vomited to the point where like they had to relocate like 40 people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. And I'll say this, dude, if you're opening for somebody, like your responsibility is to try to make the show good for the person whose show it is. Uh-huh. So like I was committed to having that entire thing resolved before we brought Ricky up. Mm-hmm. And I was proud of myself, because I'm like, dude, that really fucking sucked, but I'm glad that I was able to like be a pro up there.
Yeah.
And handle it so that he didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
it's the real
that's
deal.
tough to navigate. Yeah, I don't want to. I'd love, I want to be creative. I want to build that muscle and not be like punchy or violent. Mm-hmm. It's interesting though that my knee-jerk reaction to the couple of times that I've been heckled is to just like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna get you back. Yeah. And I'm trying like it's just interesting that that's my like fight or flight initial reaction. And then to see how gracefully some people can de-escalate, that's something that I want to work on. You need to seem in control. So that's the one thing I'll say. So if you're too like gentle, you seem like you don't know what you're doing. You seem weak, which you don't want. Like that ruins your show. That makes you seem like you don't know how to do it, how to do comedy at all. So like you want to deal with it, but dealing with it doesn't mean you need to be like, you're a or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be an asshole. But listen, if the person is being an asshole, then, but most of the time they're just like being drunk or being rude or like, rude in that they're not realizing that they're ruining the show. They're talking, whatever. Yeah. And hopefully like once you kind of like address that it's happening in some capacity, the rest of the people involved who are supposed to be dealing with it will typically like step in and help in an ideal scenario. Yeah. It seemed like this group of people, they weren't drunk. Like they were just like arrogant, and they were very dismissive and disruptive once they realized they weren't getting the product I think they were expecting. Start it? Like did people start talking to them because they were talking? So initially someone, was like, oh, where are you guys from? You guys are awfully young. And that was just playful. It's a dangerous game. And they're like, yeah, we're from Miami. We go to and that was fine. But they brought it upon themselves. And I feel so evil saying it like that. But they made themselves the center of attention for the comics. And they got several warnings. And honestly, like all the humor came out of them being the center of attention, especially as the show progressed and I guess the wheels fell off the rail. Mm-hmm. So I do think they brought it upon themselves. Yeah. Crazy, bro. Yeah. Crazy life. Dude, you ever been in a situation where you needed some cash? A lot. To buy something or to do something, and you were waiting for your check to clear, or you were waiting for payday, right?
bi-weekly or whenever your pay schedule is. You're kind of sitting there waiting. It is what it is. But wouldn't it be nice if there was a world where you didn't have to wait?
That'd be great.
EarnIn empowers you to live life to the fullest by providing up to $100 per day of your pay within minutes of earning it. No mandatory fees, no credit check. Watch your earnings tick up as you work and access up to $750 per pay period, $750. It's easy and it's free to get started. Add your bank and employment info. We will verify your paycheck. EarnIn. Download EarnIn today, spelled EARNIN, in the Google Play or Apple App Store. When you download the EarnIn app, type in Oops under podcast when you sign up. It'll really help the show. Oops under podcast. Subject to your available earnings, location, daily max, and pay period max. See earnin.com/TOS for details. EarnIn is a financial technology company, not a bank. Bank products are issued by Evolve Bank and Trust. Member FDIC. Ryan.
FDIC.
Well, dude, I would like to nominate something, a scenario for Were You a Turkey?
Oh, lay it
Or
on
Are You
us.
a Turkey? And this is a classification of turkey. If you are laughing out loud repeatedly while watching content on a plane, you are a turkey.
Ew. Ew.
Are you fucking serious? How noise canceling are your headphones? Do you understand how noise canceling headphones work? Why do you not realize that we can all hear you? Do you not care? Are you just an idiot? That is a really bad. If it happens once, good for you. You laughed so hard that you couldn't control yourself. If you're doing it repeatedly, you're a fucking turkey and you need to be stopped. You need to be served at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, dude. Even on a plane, emotions are heightened. You shouldn't be laughing out loud that hard. Yeah. When was the last time that you've really had an uncontrollable burst of laughter?
Watching I Think You Should Leave season 3.
Yeah.
But in the privacy of my own home.
In your home.
Yeah. But damn, dude, that show's fucking insane.
Yeah.
So funny.
Damn. So that happened on a plane you were on recently?
Yeah. And it's happened a few times. And I'm always like, that person's such an idiot. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? I don't know.
That is a turkey move.
I went to the movies this last week and I went to see Dumb Money with Hillary.
Oh, how was it?
Have you seen it? It was great. Pete fucking crushed it. He was so good, so funny. It was fun to hear some little anecdotes. I was texting him about him, bro, you crushed it. He told me a couple little things. I'm like, oh, that's sick. And it's fun to see him doing so well. I mean, dude, he was supposed to host an SNL. He has not yet hosted SNL when we're recording this, but when this episode comes out, he will have hosted. We're recording literally the day before or whatever. It's been really cool to see him get that chance. I mean, I think it got canceled because the writer's strike last time, maybe. I forget why the last time he did it. I think it was the writer's strike.
I think it was. I think he was supposed to do the finale.
Yes,
you would know more,
yes.
yeah.
So he's had a couple big, awesome, milestone moments get affected by things that we can't control. King of Staten Island was supposed to premiere, have a proper premiere, South by Southwest, whatever, and then COVID happened. South by Southwest was the first big thing that got canceled too during COVID, at the beginning of COVID. So that sucked.
Is that a comedy festival?
It's an everything festival. It's comedy, music, tech, it's just a bit movies, big festival for a bunch of stuff in Austin. So that was a bummer for him. And then he didn't get to host SNL because of the strike, but now here he is. He's back. It's his triumphant return. No better person to do it. He is just he's really emerging as a once in a generation star. And he is a traditional star in a time where it's hard to do that. You know what I mean? It's people's consumption of stuff is so fragmented that there's a lot of mini stars, but there are very few stars. Mm-hmm. Pete is a star.
I can't think of anybody you could compare him to.
Think of a new star that has emerged in the past 10 years. I can't really think of any. The only ones that I can think of are legacy stars. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, guys who were stars before when it was still like that. You know what I mean? Jamie Foxx, whoever, you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's some that I'm not thinking of, but not many. And even the ones that there are, it's it feels antiquated. The gossip magazines, there'll be all these people, I've never seen them. I've never heard of them. That's not a star. Everybody's heard of a star.
A household name.
Pete is a fucking star, and I love it. And anyway, I've been bopping around a little bit, seeing him get his monologue ready and all that. And it's so special to see people get excited when he comes on the show as a surprise. Cause it's like a person took their friends, like, you never knew who could pop in. Like last time I was here, it was like somebody who's like not even as big of a deal as Pete, you know what I mean? So, and what an unfair advantage to like be a stand-up comedian doing that monologue. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited for him, man. And, yeah, he was great in Dumb Money. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And we have a fun thing coming out soon too. Also, not as big of a deal as like a Dumb Money or anything, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it, so I'm not going to, but you'll all see it in due time. But yeah, dude. And dude, last night, so we're running around, I'm watching him get it all together. Really cool. I ended up drinking a fair amount, which is a little, at this point, is uncharacteristic on a weeknight, like whatever. But I will say this, I'll talk more about that after. I don't want to like get too off topic. But I came home and I went to take Advil because I was like, oh, I might be hungover tomorrow. I should take an Advil. Sometimes taking Advil before I go to bed, I don't know if that's good for you or bad for you or whatever, but I found it to really work. And by accident, I took an Adderall.
Oh no, that's the one you don't want to take.
And dude, as it's on my tongue and I'm about to swallow it, I'm like, oh my God, dude. And I like spit it into the toilet.
Oh, okay.
But like it had absorbed a little in my mouth. And I've realized that like I have weird sort of like, deficiencies when it comes to like pill consumption. Like sometimes I'll take a pill and I won't remember if I've taken it or not. And I like truly don't remember. And like, if it's something like Adderall or like whatever, or antibiotics, or you don't want to take more than you need to take. It's like scary to take too much. So then some days I may or may not have taken something and I have no idea, you know?
Yeah.
And I know you're thinking, oh, with Adderall, you should know, but like theoretically from what I've heard, you know, Adderall is working properly if you don't really feel it that much. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it works, you know, it's working, but like, you don't have that like euphoric feeling like you're on drugs. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want that feeling you got the first couple times you took it. That's not, that wearing off is normal and you shouldn't be chasing that because that's how you take too much and it's really bad for you, you know? So anyway, I realized that was the thing and I was like, Jesus Christ. But
how did you go for the Advil and then grab an Adderall? I
guess they're both blue. I wasn't really thinking like, dude, I don't know. I was a little self-conscious actually. I had like sort of a weird night. Like I was talking to someone and I realized at some point that I was like oversharing. Like I was just like confiding in this person who I like don't know that well. Mm-hmm. But she has like a really inviting energy. And it's like a very well-known person too. I just like don't know. Like I don't know if she would be weirded out by me like telling the story. So I'm not going to say who it was, but I'll tell you after. And I was like, ooh, I'm like really I was just like talking about like my like insecurities and like she said congrats about something that I had done, which is also a secret, I guess. Maybe. I'm sorry that I'm being so cryptic here, but she's like, I heard you were great. And I'm like, yeah, you know, like sometimes I feel like people don't realize that I'm good at that kind of stuff. And it's always nice when I get a shot because I feel like I did this and that. And it turns into this whole thing. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm like oversharing. And then later in the night, she like referenced it. She's like, this one over here. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, well, I don't know. Like you saved something. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I'm insecure. It was like funny. And I think she maybe thought it was sweet and like, it's not a big deal. But there was like a couple of things like that were kind of weird. And then, so I came home and I was just kind of distracted, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And yeah, dude. And then also, okay, I'm like sitting around a couple people who are like doing really, really well in comedy. And they're like talking about the things they're planning to do in their personal lives and their professional lives. And I'm like seeing their careers erupt and blossom. And like, sometimes that can be like painful. And I know it, no, and not even like it's annoying. It's not annoying. It's just like, you want it for yourself. And you can like have the inner dialogue to realize that emotion is not healthy, not fair. You're not holding it against that person. And bro, I guarantee you there's people who wish they had my career, who I do the same thing and they feel the same way. There's levels to it. And I don't know that they ever end, dude. I hear stories about like massively famous people like having these feelings where they're like jealous, I guess. I guess it's like you're jealous, dude. What a crazy thing to say. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm listening to these people talk about their shit and I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, you know, and not even PD, dude. PD is in like he's in such a distant universe. Like I don't even compare. Like I'm just grateful to be involved at all. The amount that he has done for me the amount that he's like trusted me and changed my life, bro, I will literally do anything for him. I will take a bullet for him, dude. I'm not even joking. If they're like, you need to take a bullet for him, I will be like, shoot me here. Hopefully I won't die. I love the guy, dude. I love him. He is like, his character is unquestionable. Like just a truly special person. Anyway, but there's other people talking. I'm sorry if this is getting ranty or rambly, but like, you know, some nights I'm not as strong and like stuff like that can like get under my skin. So anyway, I'm like feeling all bad about myself, like walking home. And I guess I was distracted and somehow took an Adderall and said that though. Long story short.
That's beat. Dude, it is brave that you mentioned like the jealousy thing, because I think a lot of people are jealous of XYZ for XYZ reason, but they won't accept or admit it that they are jealous. There's certain people that I'm jealous of, and it can be a healthy motivator. It doesn't need to be a like, because I've had a lot of people, they're jealous, they won't admit it, and then they'll be like, oh, well, that person's, you know, they're cheating, or like they're, you know, fuck them because they're an asshole.
You're like making excuses, but they're just jealous.
No, it's better to say you're jealous than to be like angry and contempt with people.
Yeah. Yeah, and our lives exist sort of in a bubble, you know what I mean? So like, it makes me understand why rich people want to be as rich as other rich people they know. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have the big picture perspective enough to know that like a normal person is like, oh my God, like what does that guy have to complain about? He's rich. That guy only knows rich people. Mm-hmm. And if you're rich, but you are the least rich of your group of friends or something, that can be like a heavy experience.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, whatever. I'm obviously very grateful for everything, and I'm still gonna keep trying and working hard. But you know, sometimes you see people just get everything you've ever dreamed of with ease, and it's like fuck, and you're right there next to it. You know, it's more.
Then they have their own set of problems.
I'm sure, and dude, that feeling scales up. That guy who I'm thinking about feels the same way about the guy who's ahead of him. You know what I mean?
Can I qualify a potential turkey move?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I was playing a board game with a group of people about a month ago. What is your stance on intervening with a cheater in a game?
I mean, it's crazy to be cheating. So it kind of depends. Like, what are they doing? Like, are they cheating and they just like don't care because they're not taking the game seriously?
No.
Or you caught someone cheating?
I've been catching the same person cheating and also dictating the game the entire time.
That's really annoying.
So we were playing Taboo.
Corrupt.
Very corrupt. We were playing Taboo. There were 8 of us. If you haven't played it, you have cards and there's words on the back that you're not allowed to use to describe the word on the front. And you try to get your partner to guess as many of them as possible. And we were deep into the game, and the captain, whoever was, you know, like making, like, we have to play this way. These are the rules. Like, you get penalized if you make the wrong answer. Like, really enforcing all of the rules. She was cheating. I saw her before each round checking the bottom of her card so that she could see the word.
Damn.
And so that she could prepare her
best,
her responses before the round started. And so I caught her doing it a couple times. And this is I would never say anything,
so awkward.
But she was calling out people for, you know, guessing incorrectly. That's -2 points. So you actually get -3 points.
No.
So like after like Victoria and I had a round where we were really struggling to get any points and we got 1 point, and I guessed something 3 times incorrectly, and she's like, you guys got 1 point, but then you got -3 points because you guys guessed that incorrectly. Just like a full-on terrible, like,
the secretary
taboo
general
Nazi.
of the board game.
Yes,
terrible.
And so I kept an eye on her because she was cheating, and it was the very last round, and it was between me and my partner, her and her partner, and right before she was going, I saw her sneak a peek, and I said, you got to flip the card and do a new one. I just saw you look at that. And she was embarrassed, and she said, no, I didn't. And I said, then just flip the new card. And she did, and we beat her by 1 point.
Wow.
And so it's not about me winning the game, but I was just curious if that was a turkey move for me to call her out on that.
Interesting. Honestly, no. And it's just so awkward to be cheating, but like games are fun because you try to win them, right? If that's not happening, then what the fuck's the point? And it's fun to compete. It's fun. It doesn't have to be like contentious and like whatever and competitive, but like it doesn't need to be crazy. But like seeing somebody cheating, it seems like you did a good job. You can be like, are you cheating? Or like, you just looked.
Yeah, and I did it just like that. It was a friendly like, hey.
I saw that.
Yeah, and I never would have said anything if she wasn't, you know, the rule enforcer. So like,
it makes
if you're
it more
gonna
annoying.
enforce the rules, you have to follow them too.
Right. They are procuring an unfair competition from the start and controlling that. That sucks and is annoying.
And the way that you call them out, like, it could affect the entire vibe of the entire night. So I was nervous about it. I was self-conscious about calling her out because there was, though I said it like that playfully, there was like 10 seconds of like everyone looking around at each other and like a little bit of tension. And there never needed to be tension. Everybody was having fun. I was just having fun, but I felt like I needed to call her on it. So it maybe then I think she's a turkey. It's you.
Did I not answer? Sorry.
No. I asked if I was a turkey.
You were not
for
a turkey.
asking her.
She is absolutely a turkey, dude. Why are you cheating in board games, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
Get the fuck
exactly.
out of here.
So
I
need to get that off my chest.
Yeah, good for you, dude. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you, bro. I don't know, man. I'm excited about doing some of these shows in other cities because I get a lot of satisfaction of like finishing an entire state's national park unit. Once I go to all of them, I'm going to start getting more specific because some of the national park, like a national historic site, for example, and I'm sorry if this feels like a severe right turn here. I was just like thinking about it, like, no, whatever. But some of them, a national historic site might have 5 different things in it. So like, for example, I think the Richmond National Battlefield, whatever, like the visitor centers, like a museum, and like the area nearby is like sort of significant, but like the meat and potatoes of the site are at like a couple of different locations. So like I understand that that's part of it. So once I've gone to all of them, I'm going to start being more specific about hitting all the specific parts of each one also, which anyway, not that matters. But in Oklahoma, I have one more to go and I'm going to go to it. By the way, come to my shows 25th and 26th. Obviously I'm going to be in Toronto, December 16th. No national parks there. If there are, they're not part of my OCD list yet, but whatever Canada national parks, maybe I'll hit those next. Maybe that'll be my next things. Anyway, I'm excited about doing all these. If you guys haven't listened to it, check out my Pack Light podcast. If you're looking for sort of like relaxing narrative pod, it like happened during COVID. I don't know if it's completely like not relatable at all anymore, or if like it's not worth opening that can of worms for yourself as far as like PTSD is concerned too soon. But people will ask me regularly, they're like, how about another Pack Light? Do another Pack Light. Like, I think people really liked it. I don't know if I ever will do it again because the video component to the travel stuff is so compelling that like, why just like tell this complicated story that takes a long time to write? It's like writing a book. But that was a lot of fun, and I don't know. I look forward to getting out there. When I'm in, Kentucky, Ohio, I'm going to go to a bunch. I'm obviously in Seattle. I went, so
we have all the
I'm
episodes.
talk more about that.
We have all the episodes of Packing Light on the YouTube channel.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a oh cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Pack Light, yeah. There's the YouTube's just like a animation of me driving that is a loop.
It is cool though.
It is cool, right?
It is pretty cool.
Yeah,
we have the playlist on the YouTube.
That was a classic Gallerati project in that I spent an unbelievable amount of time on it, unbelievable amount of money on it. There's a lot of really nice nuanced stuff, and it just like didn't make money or matter.
It mattered.
Not make money or matter. It mattered and it did okay. But like but that's just what we got to do, bro. That's part of this job, this lifestyle is you got to try to make your own projects in this career. And one day maybe one of them will stick. But anyway, looking forward to that. Dude, in other news, I've texted you about this, and this is a little bit of a weird story, but
the Island Boys,
dude, what is going on with the Island Boys?
Dude, I didn't know if you wanted to talk about this on the podcast.
I'm a little late to the party here. This may be common knowledge, but do you guys remember? I'm an island boy. I'm gonna talk about an island boy. It was these guys who like went viral. They're twins, and they went viral for singing this Island Boy song, and
Which I never think was actually released.
I don't think,
them singing their little 16-second
went
jingle.
viral. They had millions of followers. Like they were able to like monetize it in some capacity and like collab with other sort of Instagram people. But now it appears that they're having sex with each other. If they're not fully having sex with each other, there's like, they have an OnlyFans where they literally make out with each other. Like
they're having sex with each other.
Basically.
Orally.
It's the oral sex, I believe, is some sort of prop. But like, dude,
what kind of relationship is that?
Dude, they're
You and
twin
your
brothers,
brother.
bro. Anyway, the Island Boys are up to no good, dude.
Yeah, I got a message from Giulio the other night. He sends me the graphic photo of. I'm so glad I didn't know if you wanted to talk about this, but yeah. Yeah, Giulio just out of the blue late one night just sends me a photo in the Instagram DMs because you don't want it in your iMessages. Just of like one of the brothers down there to his twin brother.
Kissing each other's necks, dude. Like, just a picture of like one of their buttholes, dude. It's like the craziest, dude. I'm like looking at it on my phone, and Hillary's like, "What?" Hillary's like, "What the fuck are you looking at?" I'm like very calmly. I'm like, "Oh, like the Island Boys are having sex with each other."
Oh, good. Way to not act like you got caught watching porn.
I'm like, it's insane, but it's I don't know. This is like, I don't know that anything like this exists. Like full on, unashamed, like incestual brotherly love, dude.
That's some brotherly love.
What the fuck?
They're on that Philly shit. How much money do you think that they're making?
At one point, they were making like $200K a month. Fully not worth it.
They don't do anything. They just sing their jingle and
diddle each other. And they're getting paid, bro.
Damn.
They don't give a fuck. It's pretty impressive, honestly.
Dude, my brother made a TikTok account early on, and he recorded a couple videos of him and I goofing around, and then out of context added like these incestuous captions to it, and he got like hundreds of thousands of followers, and they all flooded to my TikTok account, and they were just flooding the comments with like,
was this
"Where's
recently?
your stepbro? Where's your stepbro?" It's like right around COVID.
Yeah.
He's like, "Where's your stepbro? Where's your stepbro?" Like the incest thing is just seems to be very lucrative. It seems to be very lucrative. Damn, dude, that's crazy.
Well, dude, okay, so I have a couple. So this, like, I don't know why this reminds me of this, but this is worth talking about because it's funny. And you guys can tell me if you've ever been in this kind of situation, but I had a funny thing happen the other day where I got connected with somebody who like was maybe going to be able to partner with me on some type of thing, right? And they were like, "Oh, I'll connect you with the person, whatever." And the person who I was connected with on the email is somebody who I had like gone out with a few times. And like once or twice, it was a long time ago, and it was weird, sort of. And I was sort of unclear about how to handle it. Like, she's like, "Oh yeah," like no knowledge that me and this person knew each other. It's like a professional email. I'm getting invited to go to some thing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you can't really address it on the email. It's weird to be like, "Oh my God," like, I guess you could be like, "Oh my God, small world." And you don't have to like say specifically what the connection was, but it was never really brought up. And then at the thing, at first I was like trying to find the person because I'm like, I don't know that I would like recognize him. It's been so many years. And I finally am like, "Oh, I think that's her." And I like went and broke the ice. I was like, "Oh my God," like crazy, right? Like small world. And I think that that's the way to handle that, right?
I think you handle that.
Because you don't want it to be weird, and it's not weird. Like, it does. Dude, I didn't even remember the specifics of like how it didn't progress and how, you know what I mean? I was just kind of like, whoa, that's wild when like you start to get old enough to like fully forget shit like that. Mm-hmm. I always used to wonder that. Like, I'd ask my parents a question and they'd be like, "I don't remember." And I'd be like, "What do you mean you don't remember?" I had all my memories of my life still completely accessible. And now I'm at the point where it's no longer the case. So anyway, crazy. I think that's the way to handle it, right?
It could have been very sour if you made it weird. It was very cool that you addressed it right away. Yeah.
I was worried that she was going to think that I didn't remember her and that she didn't want to be like, she didn't want to put herself through the, "Oh my God," and me being like, "How do we know each other?"
Yeah.
So I wanted to like make sure that I set the tone of the interaction to guarantee that nobody felt weird, including myself. You know what I mean?
Way to step up.
Thank you.
Because there can be in many situations, there can be tons of tension, and just a quick little thing like that can just let all the air out and everyone can just chill and you guys do your meeting or whatever.
Hill Dog is really good about that kind of stuff. Any potentially awkward social situation, she gets ahead of it and she's incredible at it. She'll do this, dude, to like let old people off the hook. If she sees somebody who she knows, she'll go, "Oh my God, hey, nice. Oh my God, like it's Hillary." You know, she'll say her mom, like so-and-so's daughter, like so-and-so, you know, Jamie's daughter, like, "So good to see you." She immediately will be like, "I'm going to give this person context of who I am so that they don't have to like awkwardly wonder who I am. And it also still gives them the benefit of the doubt that they should remember you. Mm-hmm. "Good to see you." And if they're like, "Oh, like, of course I know you." Like, "No, I know. I just like like sometimes people forget and like, I don't know. I can't even do it. I don't know how she does it, bro.
It's a great skill.
She's masterful. I've seen her do things where I'm like, oh my God. Like I'll see somebody come over and I'm like, this is a pickle. How is she gonna, and she'll like, and then I'll look at her and she'll go, I'll literally just open my eyes and look at her and she'll go, I know.
Dude, she's a pro.
We're telepathically communicating at this point.
Yeah.
You know, I know she can just look at me and know what I'm thinking.
Dude, that's good. That's a great skill to have. Because it's so awkward when no one, like when that person's not there, it's so awkward. Last night I went to trivia and I was hanging out with my, my neighbors, and there were 2 people there, that I'd never met before. And then I realized 8 minutes into hanging out with them that we never introduced ourselves to each other. And I was talking to this girl, and I've had like 3 mini conversations with her, and I'm remembering, I'm like, wait a minute, we've never, and then I interrupted the conversation, like, oh my God, by the way, I'm Ryan. And then she's like, oh my God, I'm Ashley. And so like, benefit of the doubt. And
I'll be like, yeah, oh, by the way, I'm Julio. Like,
yeah.
Nice to formally meet you.
Exactly. Yeah.
After you've been talking.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be weird at all. It's honestly, it makes things better. And everyone's a lot more relaxed. So like you just being like, oh my God, crazy world.
Agreed. Also, sometimes I think about this too. I'm like, a little thing like that could be so stressful. Sometimes I'll watch like a TV show, and the amount of times that like people are having conflict with the other characters in the show, even if it's just them saying some insanely rude thing and then the other person says something rude back and then it's just normal again. I'm like, if my life was like this, I'd be dead.
Oh,
no one talks like that.
No,
like that is a crazy way to be. So sometimes when I have like any remotely stressful interaction coming up, or I have to talk to somebody, or I'm like, I just try to like remove myself from it and watch myself do it, so that I'm like disconnected emotionally. And I'm like, this isn't a big deal, dude. It's fine. Who fucking cares? Mm-hmm. It's not worth it to not enjoy your life, to watch, to like be stressed out all the time about shit. You know, I don't know. That helps me.
That's cool.
Dude, one thing that sucks, okay, this is funny. Rotten intel when it comes to being like a single person can be a really brutal thing.
Rotten intel?
Rotten intel. Here's an example. There was this girl in college who I really liked, who I always, it was like a running joke that I really liked this girl. I was like, this girl's the best, like whatever. I was like, such a babe, one that got away, LOL, joking around, right? That was always like the ongoing joke. I haven't seen her in a decade. So this was like, this whole thing was happening from college into my 20s, right? She already looked great then, but then she had like a massive glow up too. And everybody was like, oh my God. And I'm like, dude, I told you, like I called it out like before. She's the GOAT, dude. Right? Whatever. So we had hung out in college, and then whatever. And then maybe even as adults, like when we were like 23, maybe we like hung out one time. And then from there, kind of never again. But I bump into her or whatever. Anyway, I'm hanging out with people one night, and this girl is like, oh, we like figure out that we know her. We both know this girl. And they're like, oh, she was talking about you and how she like loves you. And I'm like, oh my God, what? Really? I'm like, oh my God, I love her too. Like, that's amazing. Like, that's like the greatest thing I've ever heard. Haha. I was like, I should text her. Like, we should hang. And I texted her something that was like pretty straightforward, I think. I don't remember exactly what I said, but based on the information I had been given, it seemed like this person wanted to hang out with me. Let's hang out, right? So I message her, being like, we should, like, whatever I said. And her reply is just, I'm engaged.
Oh, I want to know what you said.
This is in like 2013. You can use your imagination. I wasn't like, I didn't say anything crazy, but
but we also know your Instagram comments for Hillary with the surfboard.
I had a straight shooter phase where I was like, no bullshit. Gallerati gets in there and gets what he wants type of thing. Like, I want to hang out with you. Let's hang out type of deal. Hill Dog, obviously, is the triumphant finale to that chapter in my life.
Yeah.
But previously, and that must have been, I don't know, dude, 2016 or something. It was a long time ago. But I sent that message and I just got the message, I'm engaged. That was the only reply.
Did you reply?
No. I may have actually. I may have been like, OMG. I probably have a screenshot of it somewhere.
OMG.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. If I had known that, I never would have texted you like this. Like, again, I didn't say anything crazy, but like, it was a text where if you're like, oh my God, she loves you, she wants you to text her, she wants to hang out with you, it's the type of text you might send after receiving that sort of scouting report. Mm-hmm. And crummy intel, has started many a world dispute and made an interpersonal one. So,
we learn.
I think that the person was so excited that we had something in common that they wanted to milk it because maybe I like wasn't giving them much attention that night. And they're like, oh, here's something we can talk about together. Let's dial this up 90%.
Because Giulio seems to be very fixated on that.
Giulio, whatever we can do to get a rise out of him. Yeah, dude.
Milked it.
It's crazy. And dude, I remember that night too. This is funny. One of the people who came over, she threw up and then like passed out on the roof. I was like house sitting for somebody. I was dog sitting actually. And threw up and like it was a whole ordeal. Like we like cleaned up her mess and like she was like sleeping on the couch outside, then slept on the couch. I think she slept over the apartment, like on the couch. And in the morning, like there's nothing more annoying than somebody who like has an extremely disruptive episode and then like doesn't feel remorseful the next day. I just remember being in my bed hungover and I just like feel a poke. And I look, open my eyes, and I'm like, psst, John. She said, John, but I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you standing over me? Like, how are you not so sorry? Like, how didn't you leave from shame? Why are you waking me up, dude? This is insane. Whatever.
What she said, like, what was
I didn't
next?
say anything. I was like, oh, and then like, we both moved on with our lives. But yeah, dude, I don't know. You know what's funny too? When I dog sat, that time, the girl who I was dog sitting for told me this whole elaborate story about how a guy took her to Europe and paid for everything and like took her on this extravagant trip. And then at the end, she wouldn't hook up with him. And he was like really butthurt about that. And she's like, couldn't understand why. I'm like, okay, like I understand that just because you take somebody on a trip or whatever doesn't mean that they have to do anything. But of course I understand why the guy was A, frustrated, B, gave up, and C, is no longer taking you on trips. This guy's looking for love. You don't want it. I get it. It's fine. So anyway, I was like joking with her about that. I'm like, oh, like I understand why he did that. Ha 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 ha, whatever. He's like, I took you on this trip. I took you on this like trip. I thought that by you accepting, I figured. And she was like, didn't get it, right? So anyway, I watch her dog for 3 weeks while she's gone. She comes back and I jokingly text her. I'm like, oh, I just watched your dog for 3 weeks. I figured, right? Isn't that an obvious joke? Like I'm obviously joking. She to this day believes that I was completely serious and doesn't believe that I was kidding.
I'm sorry. I went, while you're in the middle of the message.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
How did you end that message? I just watched your dog.
She should have been like, LOL. Instead, she was like, oh my God, like, I'm sorry if you got the wrong idea or something. I'm like, are you serious? This is like a blatant callback to our other joke. I don't know.
She just didn't get it.
I missed the mark with her on that one. But I kind of like had a crush on her a little, but I in no way meant that. Obviously, dude, I'm dog sitting. In what way does dog sitting convert into romance?
Yeah.
I didn't take you on a trip. I didn't take you for anywhere. In fact, you went somewhere and I stayed and watched your dog at your apartment because my apartment was that shitty at the time that I would rather be in someone else's house for 3 weeks.
3 weeks is a long time.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that the getting sick happened at the apartment you were dog sitting at, right? I'm curious, like, were you just throwing parties?
No, but like this girl was super chill and like I was reasonable. There was a sick roof. It was like down on Canal Street, like downtown, like Tribeca area. And she didn't give a shit. She's like, have people over, whatever. And I never like fucked anything up. I never made a mess. She's like, you can have girls over if you want, type of thing. Like I was very single at the time.
That must have been fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's a sick situation.
And the person who I was talking to at the time, like, during that whole thing, which it wasn't serious enough that I can't send some sort of text to some other prospective partner. But the person that I had been spending time with spent the night one time, and the dog who I would sleep with the dog every night. The dog was really jealous and upset and pissed and shit all over the apartment.
I get that.
That's crazy. I can't believe dogs actually do that.
How did you walk the dog? How did you let the dog go to the bathroom?
She may have had a wee pad. I don't remember. She was older, but no, we'd walk. I'd take her on a walk, and there was also a roof upstairs. So like she needed, if I couldn't go, but I had plenty of time to tend to the dog. But this was the only night that the dog didn't spend the night in the bed.
Did you walk the dog before you had your friend over?
Yeah. And I think we maybe even walked the dog together. And she had a little ramp. She would run up it into the bed. She was a little dog. She was really cute, older. She had a little cough. Dude, I fucking love dogs. I love dogs, man. I want one so bad. And I just don't know that I could take care of one.
Yeah.
To the point, dude, where sometimes I'm embarrassed to like talk to like I'll see a dog on the street, like with an owner, like going to the bathroom, and I'll want to go, yeah, good job.
No.
Yeah. I don't do it.
Let me see your little penis.
I don't do it. But even if like a dog in the elevator like jumps on me and the owner's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, I want your dog to I want your dog all over me, dude.
That's where we disagree.
You don't like the dog jumping?
I hate big dogs.
Oh, I love them.
I fucking hate big dogs. I don't like being jumped on without my consent. It pisses me off. I was at the
Well, if it's like dangerous, if it's like a Rottweiler or like a strong dog, it's a little different.
Yeah, I'll acknowledge I'm like a brat about it, but like I was at a grocery store last week picking up active dry yeast, and there was a dog. I was making focaccia. I gotta make you some, by the way. I don't think have I ever brought it to Francis's when we were recording at his place, or did I ever bring it to Barstool?
You may have brought focaccia to Barstool once.
Okay,
and I recall it being good.
Yeah, I'd love. Yeah, so I was making some for the first time in a while, and I was out of active dry yeast. So I go to the local City Acres market, and behind me there was a man with his dog. The dog was big, and then there was another man with his dog walking by the aisle, and they both started growling. Things got tense, and the dog went to pounce on the other dog.
Oh my God!
The dog behind me went to pounce on the other dog.
They weren't playing?
They weren't. No, it was just it was so fast. It was just immediate, like just boom. And so he went to pounce on the other dog. He missed and grazed and scratched the back of my Lululemon ABC joggers. Wow. And there was a little scratch on the back. And so
did it rip him?
It didn't rip him, but it left an impactful scratch. They haven't been washed yet. I'll let you guys know if I got it out. But I turned around. I was like, I was just like expecting. I was waiting for just like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I don't know. You know what? I did. I wanted that. I wanted an apology from the dog owner. And he was just texting on his phone. And he's like, oh, calm down. It's okay. It's okay to his dog. And he did not. Oh my God. He wasn't paying attention.
I hate that.
It might be the dog owners that I hate. I hate a bad dog owner. But more often than not, big dogs, they jump on me and I don't like them. I'm a little dog guy.
Well, you need to like assert yourself, dude.
I know.
You need to be dominant.
I know, because they think they're better and stronger than me.
You need to show them who's boss.
I like the dogs with the little coughs.
Dude, I like
cute
little dogs. I like big dogs. I like any animal that's able to be affectionate to humans. Like rabbits rabbits seem like they'd be cute, but they don't cuddle and they thump. All they do is thump all day.
Have you had you have the opportunity to find that out firsthand?
Yeah, I had a friend who had rabbits. They chew on shit and they thump all night and they don't cuddle. If you are excited to see me, dude, you're my best. That's it. If you love me, we're good. And every dog, dude, and even dog breeds that I don't like, that aren't my favorite, immediately if I spend time with that dog for 5 minutes, it becomes my favorite dog of all time. And like, I can't imagine having it and leaving it. If I had a dog, I wouldn't be able to leave him.
Yeah.
And dude, one of my most successful tweets of all time, when I was like doing a bunch of dog sitting back in the day, I was like the go-to dog sitter person for people at one point. I'd be like excited to like get drunk and go home and hang out with the dog, dude. I'd be like, is there anything better than coming home hammered to your fucking excited dog and like hanging out with it, playing around, throwing the ball 700 times to it? It's the best, dude.
Do you guys plan on getting a dog before or after?
We want one.
You guys get married?
No, like, dude, the only way that we'll end up having one again is if we're rich. If I never have to do any chores related to the dog, if the dog getting sick isn't a financial burden, and if we have like a house where it can like run around and shit. And also like the only thing about dogs, it's like dogs either shed or they smell a lot of the time. So it's like those things both suck. Yeah. And when a dog smells, like sometimes you get used to it and like it doesn't smell to you, but then people come over your house and your house smells like dog. And like that sort of like, that scenario bums me out a bit. My new fun activity, dude, my new like late night go-to drunken thing to watch is Mariah Carey.
I know. We've been seeing that.
I hard posted a reel at like 3:00 in the morning, which was hilarious. It was just me jamming out to Mariah Carey singing Without You, dude. Fire.
You watched that for the first time on a plane, right?
Mariah Carey live at the Tokyo Dome, watched it on a plane, changed my life.
This one's different?
This is the music video of Without You, but it's a live performance. Bro, Mariah's never looked better, in my opinion. That is her peak everything. That music video. Check it out. The Without You music video.
What year?
I don't even know. Must have been 1993, 1994.
Oh, wow.
Whatever. It's a while ago. She just kills it. She looks amazing. She crushes it. I watched it like 20 times in a row. And bro, a couple people like drunkenly sent me them doing the same thing, doing like a jamming out face watching it. And I was like, can I post this? And they were all like, no, dude, sorry. I was like, I was hammered. I look terrible. I'm like, I don't agree, but that they look terrible, but I understand being self-conscious. Just so you guys know, I will never air you out if you sent me something.
Imagine if we just started,
Dude,
like right
so
here, it just started playing their videos without their permission. We just became super evil.
Yeah. Dude, okay, last two things. First of all, my dad calls the plant boy the plant man.
Checks out.
He doesn't, but it's like a mistake. He's not doing it to be funny. He just thinks it's called the plant man. He goes, why is it the plant man? I was like, oh, well, Hillary called it the plant boy. I like started explaining to him and I kind of like lost his attention. He just started going, yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's so funny. And secondly, I'm really curious. I'd like to someday chew khat. Do you know about khat?
No.
It's this like herb, this like plant that like, I think in South Asia and maybe like Southeast Asia, maybe people chew it, or in Africa, I think too. It basically just is like Adderall, but it's like a plant. But I think it's like bad for you. It's like a drug. And you like chew on it all day and like put it in your cheek and you can like stay up forever. So I think like cab drivers will be like chewing on it and shit. I think Donnie and Drew Binsky may have both chewed on khat. I need to ask. Bro, we got to get Drew Binsky on the pod. Yeah, that's it.
Wow. We
got to get Drew Binsky on the pod. When he's in New York, he wants to do it. So we'll try to get him on. And my friend Ilona also, who runs a really cool travel account. I want to get some of these travel people on here. I think they would be cool.
Yeah, 100%.
oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Any of your thoughts, you know where to find me, notjulio.com. All my tickets. That Toronto show is going to be a banger. Royal Theater, I'm really excited. You also know I'm going to be in Oklahoma, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky, Utah, Florida, etc., etc. Come out to a show, Oklahoma, next week, I think 25th, 26th. So come see me at Not Julio. Ryan, what about you?
Ryan is really polite. I'll be at Black Cat Lower East Side on November 3rd at 9:00. Once again, email us at oopsthepodcast@gmail.com.
One final thing, if there's any people or like subjects you guys want us to like do either people you want us to have on or subjects you want us to do a deep dive on, we're definitely open to like hearing what you guys want to hear us talk about. And I'm enjoying doing the episodes with Ryan. And I think that like, if we're going to have guests on, I want it to be like about something specific. I don't want to just like necessarily just be completely shooting the shit, unless that's what you guys want. I don't really know. I'm open to kind of like
a little feedback would be nice.
We like talking, and I'm down to talk to different types of people in different types of ways or whatever. So let us know what you think. And that is all. Goodbye.